was actually about when we might go out with our girlfriends and we'll go to a restaurant and there'll be something that we don't like and we talk about that particular thing and we all get along, we all talk about it, we all agree that that particular food was something we didn't like. But when we're with a guy, how does that make him feel if we do that when we're on a date?
Well,
And
that's
when we
another.
criticize or complain about where we've been taken or what's been served to us.
Well, that's clearly in my book, Mars Venus on a Date. It's such a fun thing because women often bond by complaining about something. It's not that women are complaining all the time, but it's nice to feel, oh, you have the same experience with me. This soup is really too cold, and this restaurant's so expensive. They should have better soup at least, or the service is so slow. And then your partner, your friend, your girlfriend was, yes, yes, it's terrible. I cannot believe it. And now you have this sort of secret club in a sense. That's intimacy, a see inside of me, come inside of my world and experience it. And that's so natural for women to do. And it's often a way, to bond. It's a bonding way, sharing an experience. And you can bond also with positive experiences, but actually biologically, we bond more when we have someone, we're talking about something negative and we feel safe to share it. That actually stimulates more memory and more bonding for women. Now, for men, we have the opposite experience of when we're on a date and she's wanting to connect with me, and maybe the soup is cold, and it should be hot. She says, "Oh, this soup, I can't believe it. It's so cold. They didn't even heat it up." Or she might say, "Oh, this is so expensive. I can't believe that it's so expensive." And in her mind, she's just sharing her feelings. But to a man, particularly, actually, I was about to say particularly on a date, but actually anytime with my wife, I go into a restaurant, she looks at the menu and said, "Oh, this is too expensive." It's kind of like, "Oh, I made a mistake to take you here." Men have a greater need to feel successful on a date, just as women have a greater need to feel he is successful. So she'll go, "He did this, he did this, he did this, he had good manners, he looked this way, he demonstrated a respect for me." See, that's what increases the attraction for a woman to a man, and what a man does for her, for the way a man provides for her, the attitude he has in terms of making it safe for her to be herself. Oh, she'll bond very powerfully. We can even measure the bonding hormone in that woman. When she feels safe, her estrogen will go up. When women are happy, their estrogen goes up. When women are falling in love, it doubles. It becomes like 20 times higher than a man's. So this is nobody's really done the research on when she falls in love, it's 20 times higher. They've done the research that when she has an orgasm, it's 20 times higher. So that's when you're in the presence of a man and you feel like you want to have an orgasm, he's going to bond with you big time, because the research shows that when women's estrogen goes up, men's testosterone goes up. And men, their testosterone goes up. Of course, that creates libido, that creates interest, that creates focus. When his testosterone up, he doesn't whine or complain. He shows more interest. He's more dedicated. All these qualities happen when men feel successful. So when he takes you to a restaurant, if you're not complaining about the restaurant, then he's going to feel successful. And you may unknowingly be sabotaging that, because you can just smile and enjoy. And, if you want to say, well, the soup wasn't my favorite, not a big deal. Not a big deal is a very, very powerful phrase. It's $1 million phrase. If you want to express a complaint to a man and share, "Oh, I didn't really like this at all," you just say, "It's not really a big deal, but I think, they ought to serve the soup hotter, or I think the colors in this restaurant are kind of off, but not a big deal because look, we have this and this and this." Now, some women may be hearing this and think, "Oh, I have to be so particular with a man." Well, doesn't he have to be respectful and particular of you? Like not get angry with you, not tell you about your weight, not tell you about how you look. He may be thinking things, but you don't say everything you think. And that's really, really important. And, and women often want to know, what's he thinking? What's he thinking? Quite often, he's not thinking anything. That's another thing to realize, is that men don't naturally demonstrate a reassuring facial gesture when they're listening to you. Sometimes it's scary to share yourself with a man, because if he's focusing, his facial gestures don't change, because he's busy thinking. Whereas if you watch two women having lunch together, they're all over the place, you know, they're, their faces full of expression, whatever. Kind of like two guys watching a football game. That's when men get all emotionally expressive. But on a date, maybe he's not so expressive. It doesn't mean he's emotionally unavailable. But what you can do is when you're having a conversation and he's pondering what you're thinking, for many men to ponder and think about what you said, we stop feeling emotion. We actually detach in that moment. And a man could be angry, he'll detach. A man could be interested and he'll detach. A man can actually care about you and detach. Detachment is a very wonderful quality of testosterone when he feels successful. And sometimes women, they don't know how to read it. And so when you're talking and a guy wanders off, you know, that feeling where he disconnects, you don't feel reassured that he's with you. You can just pause, and that will get his attention, by the way, is pause and just say, you're thinking about that, aren't you? And he'll say, yeah. And now he's connected to you again. This is very subtle things that you can do. But just something that's not in a woman's awareness is that men tend to be a lot more sensitive to any complaints you have about what has happened on a date.